All right, so welcome to today's call. The purpose of this meeting is to kind of overview what August is going to look like, kind of the long-term plan, since the title is like 100-day, with Morning Meltdown. I want to make sure that I accommodate those that are following a very specific program, but others who are doing different journeys with different programs. So what we'll be doing in the group will be applicable to anyone, depending, it doesn't matter what the workout is. And same with nutrition. There'll be various resources. Morning Meltdown, one thing that is awesome about that workout program is Jericho designed it in a way that you can incorporate 2B Mindset or Ultimate Portion Fix or just like the traditional container system if it's proving to be successful for you. She doesn't want you to start anything new. And I want to stress that in our group. Whatever you're doing, I want to make sure if you're finding success that you continue with that. And if you're not, then talk about and problem solve maybe something we can change. Like one thing I often talk about is after Nora was born, I just didn't have time to think ahead. Like it was a lot of in the moment. But I was able to incorporate 2B Mindset when it launched shortly after Nora was born to start losing the baby weight and start feeling better and understanding the nutrition, like why and what the food groups were. And then shifted to Ultimate Portion Fix, got to a point in my journey where I needed more specifics. They're very similar in some ways, but then there are things about it that are very unique. And it's more like the approach, and 2B Mindset is more individual control, which for some people really like and thrive off that and can succeed. Others, at least in the beginning, need to know, tell me what to do. Like I don't even know where to start. And that's where sometimes Ultimate Portion Fix can be helpful, or like I said, in different points of your journey, you might need a shift. There are things that overlap in the programs, and there are approaches that are different. And I can send you guys video clips if you kind of want kind of like a preview, but there's no way to really describe it unless you actually watch the videos that go along with it. But the purpose behind both of them is really to help you understand the why and make it a lifestyle versus just do this and get results. And then often people aren't able to sustain those results. And that was something they wanted to kind of prevent that disconnect. So whatever you're doing as far as workouts, you can continue doing. You can start a new program. You can finish a program and start a new one mid-month. That's okay. Often a lot of us, and the way some of the programs are designed is that they're like three or 4 weeks. So the beginning of the month is a great time to kind of restart, or maybe you've gotten off track the past couple weeks with travel or whatever, and you need a refresher. So as far as workouts, you get to choose what works for you. And there's basically anything on Beachbody On Demand that can kind of fit your style. I do highly recommend that you pick a program, print out the calendar that comes with it, and follow it start to finish. And I know that there are workouts that you're going to encounter. We all have certain styles, whether it's cardio or it's the leg workouts that we want to skip because they're often the ones that are challenging to us. And like for me, I hate cardio. My body is still trying to gain that like endurance and that strength in certain areas. That to me, like the weight training is just easier. But I still do it because I need to do it. It's good for my body. And that you want to be careful if you start eliminating workouts from a program, then you're often missing a muscle group because they're designed very specifically to make sure that you're getting a well-rounded workout. It's basically, the best way to describe it is like working one-on-one with a personal trainer in your living room. So you just don't have those fees. Try and make sure. So I'm going to screen share, and I'm going to try to make sure I hit everything, and pause me if you feel like I'm missing anything or forget to share something. But I am going to screen share so I can show where things are in our group and also show where they are on Beachbody On Demand. Okay. All right. So I'm going to get this bigger. So when you go to Beachbody On Demand, you're going to click on whatever program you're doing. So I'll do Morning Meltdown because it's right here. When you do it, and it may look differently if you're bringing it up on your phone. So, but a little bit of searching and you'll find it quickly. All right, so there's a workout list, and they will be the list of all the workouts. Be very careful with trying to follow them as they're listed. Some of the programs that makes complete sense, like Morning Meltdown is filmed live. They're all live recorded, so they are in order. That is not the case for all the programs. That is why it's very important to go over to your program materials and click on calendar. There's also, you know, different trackers for different programs. If you're following 2B Mindset or Ultimate Portion Fix and you need additional trackers, they're in their nutrition. I'll show you that quickly. There's prep calendars sometimes depending on the program. So do check out the resources here. Morning Meltdown, something very awesome about this program is that we got, my desk is a mess. You actually get a journal, which is super awesome. I'm a journal person, as you can probably tell by prizes. There's a journal that comes with it. But if for some reason some people bought the digital access only, and so then you could print out your own copy, which actually would probably end up being the same as the value of this book, just including it in your purchase. But there, if you did it later, once it becomes part of Beachbody On Demand. There's the nutrition guide. This is going to change. Based off of what we heard, as new programs come out, they will not have a brand new nutrition program that is specific to that workout. If you go back to Lift 4 or you go back to P90X, 21 Day Fix, they have like a nutrition guide that's more or less complete, and will tell you kind of what to do. With the way that Ultimate Portion Fix and 2B Mindset have been created, they are so thorough that there's not really a need to keep recreating the wheel. These are very successful, very in-depth programs. So there won't be new right now, at least. But they will probably have some sort of basics. So even Morning Meltdown, they have some really awesome recipes I've already noticed that I want to try out. But they will give you a basic, like, calculating your bracket. So, you know, if you're under 169-ish pounds, you would be in plan A if you want to lose weight. You do want to be very conscious that you sit down and calculate this out, and that you are, throughout your journey, recalculating as you lose weight, because your brackets will change or as your goals change. Like initially I was losing weight. I don't want to lose weight anymore. I'm at a point in my journey where I want to maintain/build mass. Now that will change for you too. And you want to stick to something for 2 weeks at least, is what Autumn and the other nutritionists and trainers will recommend. It will take your body at least 2 weeks to kind of find a balance and get used to eating potentially very differently than you currently are. You might be including a lot of fruits and vegetables that were not in your diet before. You may see a little bit of, or feel a little bit of change in your digestion. Hydrate. I cannot stress that enough. You want to drink half your body weight in ounces of water to make sure you're flushing all that fiber out. If you're drinking Shakeology that has a lot of fiber and digestive enzymes in it, you want to make sure that you're pairing that with water to flush out your system. If you aren't drinking enough, you might feel bloated. Your body too sometimes will feel bloated with the change of diet. So that is why they recommend 2 weeks. That you may actually see an initial increase on the scale before you see a decrease. Before you get stressed out and frustrated, just know to expect that. It shouldn't be anything super drastic, but just know, like I said, adding fiber and the water, that you may kind of feel that initially and then start seeing the changes. Anything you ladies want to jump in and share about kind of that initial start to your journey? Anything that you noticed that maybe was oh my gosh, but then it was fine. Okay. All right. I'll keep going. But just like I said, just do know that. And if I'm going to say up front, like, don't get overwhelmed that you have to do everything at once. We're going to talk about, like, ideally these are the things that you want to do. And then when I get to the end and I show you the tracker, I want you to pick one goal a week, one thing to kind of focus on. Not that you're not going to be working on the other things, but one thing that you're like, make happen every single day, and build on that over time. But nutrition, if you didn't work out at all at the beginning, if you had to choose nutrition or workouts and you wanted to see the biggest change, nutrition is where you're going to see it. The workouts are awesome, but the nutrition is you're going to see the biggest impact if you follow the meal plans, whatever program you're doing. So supplements, you can incorporate what you want that's going to work for your goals. I'm going to run through them really quickly, just kind of like the top ones, and you can ask your coach or ask me if you have further questions, if there's any that you're not currently incorporating. So the first one is Shakeology. It is a protein supplement with superfoods. It has your daily dose of vegetables, fruits, digestive enzymes, vitamins, prebiotics, probiotics, and it's really was designed to fill in the gaps, to help give back nutrients that they're seeing over time we're not getting from our foods in our regular diet. It is different than a traditional protein. It's not a post-workout, although you can use it as part of your post-workout meal. You can incorporate it as a snack, and you can have it anytime during the day. The recommendation is one a day. It just has all the extra nutrients that you just don't want to consume more than one serving traditionally a day. It's okay in a pinch if you have it twice, but not really on a regular basis. There's Recover, which is a great post-workout protein that is protein with BCAAs, which help your muscles recover. And it's something that you have within 30 minutes after working out. I don't drink it every day. I drink it on hard workout days, where I feel like I really need it. That's up to you. Energize, I love it. I don't drink coffee every day. I like coffee, and coffee to me is like a treat when we're on vacation or when the girls are at school and I can drink it hot. But I don't drink it in the morning as my pick-me-up. Energize, what I noticed, and I did not incorporate it for a very long time, and it's not recommended while you're pregnant. Recover is not pregnant or nursing. Energize, definitely not pregnant. And nursing, I waited until Nora was about 4 months. Everybody's different. Talk to your doctors with any supplements you incorporate in your diet, not just these ones, but just talk to your doctors, of course, always first and foremost. But Energize, it was like she was about 4 months or so where she was like, I would nurse her, put her down, have Energize, and then it was out of my system, or at least like diluted. Shakeology, I had both breastfeeding and pregnant, and I had it okayed by my OB and my pediatrician. Yet again, talk to your doctors, but just so you know, kind of like personal feedback from people. Energize, to me, when I drink it, I don't, sometimes I'll feel like, oh yeah, I'm more alert. Like, to me, it gives clarity, not in the morning as I'm waking up, but also then when I go to do my workout, I can push harder. The point of Energize is to delay muscle fatigue so you can push harder in a workout. So especially when you're only working out 20 to 30 minutes, you want to push really hard to maximize that time that you're working out. It's totally up to you, and you can try it. I do most days, but you don't, it's totally up to you. Especially with 80-day obsession, with the longer workouts is when people really started to see the benefits, because they were working out for 45, 60 minutes and just, to make it through those workouts. Creatine, I'm not going to go in depth about it. A lot of men typically incorporate, not a lot of women, though women can. It can cause water retention, so women don't like that. So just that's about the knowledge. I don't know really many people that incorporate that. There's Recharge, which is an evening protein that you can incorporate to help also with your muscle recovery overnight. Just the way that your body absorbs it, it helps your body recover in the evening. So in the morning, you're not waking up sore. It kind of depends. It's like if you're really heavy lifting that day, or maybe new into your routine, you may need it. Everybody's different, but that is a supplement that's available to you if you're looking for something like that. Oh, Hydrate's the other one. Hydrate, I know issues, pregnant or nursing. It is basically a clean version of Gatorade. To me, it is a very almost diluted taste. And I incorporate depending on the day. If I wake up feeling like I am dehydrated, then I incorporate it. Or if I'm going to do a longer, harder workout, then I'll incorporate it as well. So those are kind of the basis of what you can incorporate. To help you with meal planning, I'm going to show you a couple of resources. You can go on the Beachbody blog. Not only are there awesome recipes, which are really great because they will tell you, like if you click on recipes, they will tell you like the To Be Mindset ones, but you just be careful, like just because they're labeled as To Be Mindset, to really follow the program, you have to go through the videos to understand why and understand the tracking, because like I said, it's not just following a recipe, but you need to understand how to track to make progress. But they are there, and a lot of them can also be used with a container system, but they're labeled in different sections. You can click on any that you feel like. I'm just going to click on a random one. When you scroll down on the recipe, it will tell you, and see, even here, I'll tell you the To Be Mindset, what it would fit for what meal. The containers, it does have like P90X and Body Beast, because those are a little bit different programs with nutrition, so they are listed there as well. But they're really awesome recipes. Like I think we've made this one. A lot of ones that are similar to what your family may already like that you can tweak to be a little bit healthier without them noticing like a drastic change and feel like they're on a diet, which none of us are on a diet. Hopefully all this stuff is stuff that we're going to slowly incorporate and sustain. But there are meal plans. So I've linked them in the group, but let's see if I can just do a quick search. All right, so you search meal plans. There's different ones, pre-workout, post-workout. 88 Obsession has a very specific meal plan that's based off of one of the paths for Ultimate Portion Fix, but they're in there. They may be labeled Body Beast, or I think there's Quarter Force or whatever. It doesn't matter. As long as it's a meal bracket for you, you can follow it. But they're really nice because if you're trying to incorporate all this is new to you, it saves time. And even I am not super prepped this week, and I will be going in here probably and clicking on a menu and more or less following it. The only thing that sometimes I do when I find a menu, like, this is just tips. If I clicked on one, say this is the bracket, this is not my bracket, so I can't follow it specifically. But if I scroll down, it's like, oh, I don't eat turkey. That's fine, just substitute different protein. Or if you scroll down and it's a vegetable that you don't like, that's fine. Like you don't like tomatoes, and substitute more spinach. You just don't, you want to be careful tweaking too much where you might be subtracting a container. Like you might be omitting your orange or you're omitting your greens. You don't want to do that. So just be aware of that. They are also in our group. If you go to units, before asking a question, I am here to help. Gloria, if she's your coach, is there to help. But I do recommend scrolling through the resources that are in the group. You may get a response quicker if it's during the day and one of us are busy or working, to go through here and there's stuff already there. Plus, my goal is to help you guys get to a point where you don't really need us. Like, of course, we're here to help, but I want you guys to have that independence in your own journey. But you can scroll through. There's tips on morning routine, personal development, For this month, my recommendation is Miracle Morning. It is a book about a morning routine. It has kind of a general layout, actually not a general, very specific layout to follow. And a lot of the posts are going to be relating to that book. So it's okay if you're not reading it, but just be aware that that is where it's coming from. If you don't have time to read, don't worry. Audiobooks, awesome. And that's what I do. That's how I actually read that book. And I'll be reading his other book. I'm finishing a book right now. So later this week, I'm starting The Miracle Equation. It won't be exactly the same, but I have read and have my morning routine down. So I'm going to move on to the next step. But there are other personal development recommendations in here. There's a whole file that I've sent most of you. If you don't have it, let me know and we'll tag you in the post. But mindset's everything. It's going to be hard. You might be starting today and you're super excited or super overwhelmed. But that you will get to a point, you will have a bad day. It's just inevitable. We all have bad days and we can't control that. So having your mind set up in a way that you have like a bag of tricks is the best way to describe it. Like I had kind of a stressful week this week. Just multiple things that just came to a head. And there was more than once where I had to implement things that I have taken away from books that I've listened to, whether it's getting up in the morning on the days I didn't feel like it to have my quiet time, to sort through everything that I needed to do and make sure I was calm and ready for the girls, or reminding myself in the moment to think of gratitude when I didn't feel very grateful. I have read and listened to just so many books in the past 3.5 years that I don't think I would be where I am today in my health or my life without growth books. And that's how I look at them. It's not fixing anything, but looking to grow. And, if you ever feel like you're getting on and off your journey, I recommend plugging into a book. And if you don't know where to start, ask in the group. There's other ladies that I know have read quite a few that can give feedback, and you can always start one. And if you don't like it, don't finish it. If it doesn't speak to you, then I don't recommend finishing a book. Does anyone want to chime in about personal development?
It's a definite must. So it's definitely something that I found that helped me. And it's something that I know I need to continue to do to stay on my path. And like you said, there's days that are going to be really hard and you're going to refer back to things that spoke to you a week ago, a month ago, a year ago to help bring you back, into focus. So it's definitely something to do.
Thank you. Take your measurements. I'm going to stop screen sharing for a second. So I'm asking by Wednesday. I'm not going to stress. I will send a reminder if you're one of my crew. If one of the coaches are yours, then I'll encourage them to reach out to you. If you don't want to actually share your photos right now with your coach, I want you to do it and still tell them you did it, but you can't lie about it. We're going to take your word for it. And at the end, they are expected for the prizes. So you can't cheat on that. You do need to take your measurements. Do submit that to your coach. I know the actual pictures are harder to share sometimes, but know how satisfying it is when you put in all that work and you can actually see it. Because it's one thing to be like, I feel like I've done well, or I feel like I've made this progress, but you didn't take the photos or you didn't take the measurements, and it's really hard to know. Or there's going to be days where you're like, oh, I ate crummy, or I just am stressed, or I feel whatever. And you take those photos and you're like, wow, I lost X inches, or wow, I can see muscle where I didn't have before, or whatever. You're going to see changes sometimes on those days that you don't expect it. Or, you know, there's months where I know someone in this group can speak on it. You know, you're going to see a change in the scale one month, the next month it's going to be inches. So your body is just going, like, there's just different things that are going to happen over time. Some people initially lose a lot of weight, and then they start chiseling out. Some people, the weight doesn't change because you're building muscle at the same time as you're losing fat. So on the scale, you're not going to see a change sometimes, but your body is changing. So having 3 different, go ahead. Sorry, I thought someone was going to jump in. Just having the 3 different like markers is really, really helpful for yourself. And we only ask for it as accountability. And then for the prizes this month, I announced them on our page. I don't like to stress that like the only way to be successful is weight. I don't think that that alone, or sometimes even in itself, is a measurement of success. I think there's lots of ways to measure success, and I also think that there's lots of non-scale victories that are just as important in our journeys. So I want to recognize different things all the time. So our first one is like the biggest transformation, and that will be judged on multiple factors. And as coaches, we'll make the decision, but it can be based off photos. It can be mindset that we've seen. It could be just the biggest change from start to finish, whether someone went from a certain way of eating to following the meal plans and the menu very, specifically as best as possible. The goal is never perfection. The goal is always progress from day to day and over time. So even if you feel like you've had a bump in the road, you have to reflect back on your day one from the very beginning, whatever that is. So you always want to be having, like I always relate to it as like the growth curve with your children. Like when we go to the doctor, they don't care if it goes up and down a little bit on the way. The general curve is going up, and that's our journey. We want to continue be improving, even if there's dips along the way. That is going to happen. I had it happen this week. There's things that I've eaten that I don't even want to talk about because it's life. And like I said, like lots of stuff. So we'll get back on track this week. So we're all human, and I don't want you guys to bash yourself for having bumps in the roads. And you can still have progress even with bumps in the road. So there'll be the biggest transformation. The next one will be, I'm blanking on the second one. The third one for sure is the person who is like the most encouraging, the most, like just those people that show up in the group and are cheering people on and commenting and liking on each other's posts, the person that just, stands out. And that one I will probably leave up to our group. I may have us vote as a group or have people submit privately their nominations for who they feel like has really like shown up in the group. Now help me with the third. What's the other prize? Why can I not think of it?
It's Comeback Kid.
Thank you. And that one I'm excited about because, I want to encourage everybody, whether you've been off track or you felt like you were doing really good in your journey and just life happened for whatever reason, you're an original challenger and and you come back. Because I think sometimes it's the hardest thing. It's that like you get frustrated with all the things you've done and you've gained a little weight back, or you're not eating the way that fuels your body, and you recommit to yourself and your goals and you just run with it. And so I'm excited to see whoever earns that this month, because it won't be a new person and it won't necessarily be someone that's just trudging along and doing really well. It's going to be somebody that is going to come just out of the woodwork. So, but you do have to turn in your measurements for that before and after, and you have to take the photos and submit them at the end. So, trying to think. Okay, I'm going to screen share one more time. And I'm going to show you the tracker that I made. But I was thinking about actually giving you guys an option because my friend made another cool one. And we'll see. All right, so this is the tracker that I created. Now, like I said, it may seem like, oh my gosh, this is a lot of stuff to incorporate and I feel overwhelmed. And based off of stuff that I've listened to recently, I don't want to discourage anyone if you're different than I am. A lot of the things I create, because to me, I find them helpful. You may not find them helpful, so I don't want to discourage you because you might be a rebel in this group and you don't want to be told what to do. So, and rebel not in a negative way, but it does relate to The Four Tendencies by Gretchen Rubin. It's a book, and that's one of the tendencies. So I know there's people in this group that if they're told what to do, they don't want to do it. They also don't want to do what they think they should do. So anyways, it's related to
picking on me.
I didn't even call you out. So but hey, look at all the progress you've made, and you're one of my challengers. So who would have thought? I'm an upholder. I like rules, and give me rules all day and I will follow them. I also like to set them for myself. But there's negative things to each of the tendencies. So don't think that one is better than the other. So anyways, back to the tracker really quick because we're running low on time. So these are the things that are goals. There are a couple things on here that I incorporated that are completely optional, so don't stress. Like I wrote on here, if you incorporated Energize, that might be helpful for yourself to notice if, oh, well, when I had Energize, like I got my workout in, or when I had Energize, I felt better, whatever. You might see trends. But my recommendation is to wake up without snoozing. A great book for that is 5-Second Rule if you're struggling. Write down 3 things you're grateful for, either morning or evening. You can even print this paper out and do it on the back and just write all the things you're grateful for throughout the week. Drinking your water, I wrote blank in there, so it's whatever your recommendation is for your body weight. What do I usually say? 150 pounds, drink 75 ounces. Energize. Workout, of course, hopefully we're all working out, but some people may not be. You might be starting with Ultimate Portion Fix or 2B Mindset. Shakeology, the Recover, posting in the group. So this is different. I'm not doing a daily check-in. The check-in will be doing 1 post in the group a day. I don't want you on social media all day long. That is not my goal. I want you to post something about your workout, maybe what you're grateful for. It could be a meal, it could be a recipe, anything that relates to your health and your journey, 1 thing. If you're not comfortable with photos, you don't have to share photos. They're fun. I think it's more fun to see. It does show up. Social media is crazy like that. They like photos. And then to comment on 2 other people's posts. Comment or like, just interact with others in the group and cheer each other on, because that's what we're here for. We're here to be there, to be support for one another. So the goal would be to do this 5 times a week. That is my charge to you, is that you shoot for these things 5 times a week. Now, like I said, don't try to tackle these things all at once, because you may cause yourself to fail because of that, because it's overwhelming. So I want you to go through, print this out, and highlight your goal for the week. So maybe this week, my goal for sure is going to be not snoozing, because that's something that's been hard with the girls coming back and everybody's routines off. So I need to get up early because it's my only time that they are usually asleep. Is those couple hours early first thing. Maybe for you it's the workout, or somebody else it's Shakeology. You know, you want to simplify things. I'm going to stop sharing. And the great thing about Shakeology is that you don't have to do any prep, and you can know that 1 meal a day is healthy and easy. Like you just, either you shake it up with water, almond milk, grab a banana, and off you go, and that's a meal. Or you can throw it all in the blender. I highly recommend a blender, but everybody's different. I do say with Shakeology is you want to play around with the recipes because everyone's different. It's just like anything. You might like it prepared differently or a flavor different than somebody else in the group. We have 2 minutes left. So I'm going to open it up. Any questions? And then if there's additional questions, we can share them in the group after. Gloria or Darcy, any questions or last minute thoughts that you guys want to share?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. Not right now.
All right. So the group is being run on Facebook. I know there's a crew in here and they are, I don't know, they're not the obligers in the group. It's the other one I'm not going to remember, tendency that I think they really like the Challenge Tracker app. You're you're self-motivated. You don't want to answer to anybody, and you just want to log and track things. I do have a group opened up in the Challenge Tracker app, and it's for you to log stuff. I'm not going to be in there heavily. I will periodically go in and like something, but the challenge is really run in our Facebook group. It's where I can do lives and a lot of things, and it's just easier to share stuff. So that is why I run it in there right now, especially with my husband deployed. I just there's one of me and trying to do it all. So I want to make sure that I'm pouring into you guys the most I can and effectively. So, all right, with that, I'm going to say goodnight. We are less than a minute. So thank you so much for hopping on live. And I hope those that are catching the recording found it helpful. And like I said, if you have questions, reach out to your coach. All right, have a good night.
Thank you.